Hello guys, I hope you're all having an amazing day. Happy Monday. Today we're going to be talking about some fun stuff because I feel like we talk a lot about so much inner work and personal work and stuff like that that you can do within the lucid dream state, and every once in a while I feel like we just need to have a little fun and experiment and run our own experiments and just explore the dream state. Because if you've been struggling for having motivation or feeling inspired to lucid dream, then a good thing to kind of experiment with is your next lucid dream. Do something you haven't done before. Try something that you haven't even really thought of. So I wanted to provide you with a couple ideas of things that you could try in your next lucid dream, just to spice things up a little bit, to have a little bit more fun, and to kind of come back to your why and strengthen your reasons for wanting to lucid dream. And if you guys have really cool things that you've done in your lucid dreams or that you want to do, please leave them in the chat so I can check them out, because I would love to see if I've done that before, if someone else in the chat has done that before, or maybe we can give each other ideas of things to try that maybe someone else hasn't tried before that is watching this. So hello everybody, Greg, how's it going? Cypher, Dreamy Space, Matthew. Hello fellow dreamers, I hope this day finds you well. I'm having a great magical day. I hope that you guys are as well. As you guys know, I've taken some time off because I haven't been feeling very well, and I'm starting to feel a lot better, so I have content coming out. I've already got a couple of videos made, and I am kind of spicing up my schedule again for content. So I am just getting back into a new schedule, so I am wanting to release something almost daily on both channels. So I am kind of prepping for that, so there's going to be a lot more content coming out. Of course, if you guys have any ideas of content that you want to see, feel free to post that, in the Facebook group, in the Telegram, or if you want direct influence over the content I create, then maybe head over to Patreon, because you guys do get direct, you have direct influence over the content I make. You have direct access to my private inbox, and you guys get exclusive content as well as getting early releases on the content that I create. And we just created a private Facebook family community group for Patreon, so you guys can communicate with each other, post your questions, post experiences, and that's where we're going to be having a lot of our classes, our monthly live streams for Patreon. All of the extra content and videos and live streams and stuff are now going to kind of be in the Facebook group. So we're kind of expanding what we do on Patreon. And yeah, I've had a couple issues with uploading long classes, over hour-long classes on Patreon, so I decided to make a Facebook group where a lot of your guys' resources and the value will be. So I'm very excited to get back into creating, and of course I love any ideas that you guys have for content. Finally getting some great dream recall. Amazing! That's so great to hear. I know a lot of us are getting back into our dream practice. That's just the ebb and flow with dream work, especially when I'm not feeling well. I don't really dream a lot because your body's using a majority of its energy to try to kind of repair and replenish the body. And this can happen if we're feeling really stressed, for example. You notice that your dreams will change, and that's because we have one kind of main energetic space, and that has to be split up between different tasks and different functions. And so if your dream recall does go down for whatever reason, do not fear. It is definitely a part of the process, and you are not alone. But maybe some of these ideas or challenges will kind of get you excited to start dreaming again. So I hope so. And again, I would love to hear stuff that you guys have either done in a lucid dream or stuff that you want to do. And again, this day goes as far as your mind will allow it, so I would definitely experiment and run your own experiments. That's my favorite thing. But a lot of the time it's kind of more serious stuff, meeting internal archetypes or trying to heal something really, profound or something like that. And sometimes I even forget to have fun and just explore the dream world. So these are some of the things that I like to do and kind of where my mind goes when I think of trying something new. So I wrote down just 5 things that came to my mind that I think would be really, really fun, that I don't think a lot of people do, and stuff that interests me as far as what I like to do in my lucid dreams. Hello, Eric! You made it! How are you? Welcome. Rory, how is it going? going? Just woke up from a wonderful nap and got a little lucid. Oh my gosh. Feel free to tell us about it if you totally feel like it. If not, totally understand. I get super hyped when I have a lucid dream, and I literally talk about it all day. So just know if you ever need an outlet, we are here to hear it. I've been synchronicity surfing for a while now, no specific tech to utilize, but for hours at a time while awake, it feels like dreaming for many days in a row. I love that. And there's sometimes, I'm not sure why, for those of you who have witnessed solar eclipse before, you know how the energy just like really changes, like really shifts, like shit gets weird. Like for those of you who've never witnessed a solar eclipse before, I witnessed like one full one. But like, how do you even explain that? I don't even know how to explain it. Obviously, like the shadows and how everything is kind of presented changes, the contrast changes. Outside, all of the shadows of everything is like backwards, if that makes sense. The lighting outside is really odd. All the animals and everything just kind of like gets quiet, and it just like, it literally feels like you have stepped into another dimension. Like everything just gets weird, and it has this really cool, like, I don't like using the word eerie because it's not scary, and I talk like this when I'm talking about out-of-body experiences as well. It's not like eerie, it's just like otherworldly, or yeah, very dreamlike, you know. And that's definitely how my dreams are, and that kind of like energy with it, if that makes sense. And sometimes I have that feeling randomly. I'll wake up and everything will just feel off. I go outside and something's just off. That happened not too long ago, maybe like a week ago. It was weird. It was the middle of the day, and the sun was out, but it wasn't bright at all, and there were no clouds either, but the sun was not bright at all, and like there were crickets chirping, and it literally sounded like it was nighttime outside, but it was literally like 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. or something. And again, the lighting was weird, like, and I definitely had to do a lot of reality checks. I went on a walk, and I was like, this is the perfect time to practice like creating the, you know, the mindset of I could be dreaming, like what's going on, because I actually felt that in that moment. And guys, if you have an experience like that where shit feels odd or weird, or like you just feel like you're not necessarily completely awake, take advantage of that and really ask yourself some questions and take that time to kind of build the mindset for reality checks, because if you really mean it, when you do them, you're going to build the habit much faster. Because the one, you know, a common reason why people have a difficult time with, you know, really implementing or integrating reality checks and stuff into their practices, because it feels like a chore. It's kind of hard to take seriously at first because you're sure that you're awake. You might feel silly doing it, you know, but if you really are having to question, oh my God, something's odd, something is weird, like that's, and you can really use that time where you're truly feeling that way to ask some questions and try to answer it. It's going to make the process of using reality checks so much easier. So that's where the weird technique comes in that I've talked about. It's just when something weird or odd is going on and you stop to really ask yourself. You really want to take advantage of those moments in life. They don't necessarily happen all the time for a lot of us, but when they do happen, definitely take advantage of that for sure. I just got to talk to my shadow, and he was like a YouTube therapist I subscribed to, but after I saw him, I got distracted. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. It's so interesting talking to, you know, your shadow within Lucid Dream, because it has so many sides to it, and so you never really know what to expect. I did spend a lot of time floating in a bucket and trying to control my dream, and I was able to make a lot more happen than usual. I feel like I was really in the dreamer persona, and my subconscious or self-doubt didn't challenge me as much as usual. I love that. I love that. That kind of reminds, I don't know why your dream of floating in a bucket reminds me of my dream, but literally the other day I was in some sort of school or something. Of course, it was like some, I don't know. We went there with a group of people, and it was like a really rundown like school or work building or something, and I decided to try to like mop it to clean it up, but it was like the ceiling was falling, like everything was like really messed up, and I was like, I'm gonna try to just mop and like, you know, do my part, whatever. At least the floors will be clean. And I remember mopping, but the mop was like completely broken. It was almost like it was on a wire instead of like an actual wooden like handle, you know? So floating in buckets, trying to mop floors with wire broken mops. A day in the life. My first lucid dream was a little blurry. It was hard to convince my brain I was dreaming. Even one of my reality checks failed. That's interesting. What reality check? If it was it like your hand, like counting your fingers, because that one can definitely fail. One that I have never had fail is plugging my nose and trying to breathe through it, because when you're doing that, you're not plugging your actual nose when you're sleeping in bed, so naturally you're going to be able to dream, or you're going to be able to breathe in the dream when you do plug your nose. So I always add that one in to any check that I do. I'll usually count my fingers, I'll look around, I'll ask questions, I'll try to poke my thumbs through my palm, and then I will plug my nose, and then look around one more time. So that's kind of what I what I do for like a standard reality check, but really questioning is extremely, extremely important. So I do have some 5 lucid dreaming challenges that I feel like everybody should try, and it's just for the sake of understanding the experience or getting to explore it a little bit more, understanding how powerful you are and the reality we live in is, and consciousness, and how cool it is that we can literally create any experience within the dream state and really learn a lot from it and benefit from different things. It's like you're naturally doing inner work and like personal development, I believe, when you are lucid dreaming. And there's tons of like lucid dreaming creators that say it is not a spiritual practice, it has nothing related to spirituality, and I guess that could be true, but I think it is a very beautiful spiritual place naturally. You know, if you really think about what's happening, that's pretty damn cool and mystical and magical to me. But it's truly whatever you make it, and of course a different mind will have a different experience. So maybe those that don't believe in magic, imagine what their dream worlds are like. Not saying that people have to believe in magic, and it also depends on what you classify magic as, you know, because that's also kind of subjective. But it's interesting how I'm sure dream worlds and how they work and all of that is completely different for each person depending on what they believe. It's kind of like what people talk about, you know, for the afterlife. It's like, well, what do you think happens? I think kind of where we expect to go or expect to experience, we do experience that on some level, you know, like people who believe in evil or whatever. When they're having an out-of-body experience, it's not that that's true, but your perception, it's trying to solidify your assumptions into facts. You know, that's one of our brain's major tasks in life, is to affirm our narrative and our beliefs to help us survive. That helps us find our own individual place, you know, without going crazy. You know, it's like, because we have proof of our own narrative, because we can perceive it that way, it like helps us feel safe. So even if something isn't necessarily true on a collective level, you could experience it over and over in your life if you believe it is true. And I think that that is also expressed through dream worlds. Of course, I've never been able to see anyone else's dream world, but I wonder how it differs from mine, you know? I wonder how, to what scale the dream worlds are different, because some people will have completely normal dreams. They, like, nothing weird will happen. It's very normal. And maybe that's one reason why, you know, they have a difficult time becoming lucid, is because, like, their dream world looks exactly like their waking life does. For mine, I'm doing the craziest stuff, but I'm also, like, I read a lot, I create a lot of art. You know, I'm always in my imagination. I'm literally like a child in an adult's body in a lot of ways. And I think that's definitely expressed through my dreams and the dreams that I have. So what are your dream worlds like, guys? Is it like weird and quirky? Are you always trying to solve a mystery? Are you like always being chased? Does everything feel super serious? Like, what does the weather look like? Like, does it usually have like a feel and a vibe to the dreams that you have? I would love to hear about about what you guys experience. I do notice that a lot of, and do your dreams usually happen at daytime or nighttime? These things are really interesting because I wonder how much it varies per person, and what if there's things that are like collective? It's like a natural part of our biology that like this thing is always this way within dreams and lucid dreams, you know? That's really interesting. I need to create like a mass survey for science purposes because these are the thoughts that keep me up at night. Wait, what? Oh, sorry, I got lost in the chat. My dreams used to take place in the desert. Now my dreams take place in winter mountains. What does that mean? Maybe it means that maybe on some level you're entering a different period in your life of some kind. You said that the desert is like your happy place. What do you feel about the winter mountains? Maybe that will tell us something depending on how you kind of see that or perceive that. What I would give to be able to study people's dream experiences and how they experience consciousness. It's actually, my dream is to create a research center on consciousness. And I know the time will come. I've talked to a few people about it as well. I want to create a research center on consciousness where we study lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences and the impacts, the psychological, the physical, the emotional impacts that it has on us, and what the limits are to that, and how far or how much potential these states have to like radically change the direction of society and how we live. You know, I truly feel like there's so much to that, and for some reason there hasn't been a lot of studies, or you know, I mean, there are a lot of like anecdotal reports and stuff as far as like lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences, but like we are nowhere near where we could be in research on this kind of stuff. You know, I really believe that we could do so much more. I will get my PhD and make this happen. I'm not even kidding. We should. My dream literally is to have this big research center, do lots of different like experiments, tests. There'd be retreats there as well. It would almost be like a mystery school / research center for consciousness. So like dreams, meditation, out-of-body experiences, different kind of spiritual practices like that. So it's literally combining like spiritual embodiment and scientific research in one, and actually being able to host retreats and have, you know, like hire a team and like make it this, like create this like lucid dreaming empire. That's my dream. Where we all can like, I just think it would do so much for so many people, and it would really give us our power back and show us our true potential. Maybe that's why they haven't studied it too deeply, because it's a big rabbit hole, you know? So maybe that's why modern science is like, oh, we're not ready for that, you know? And people might not be ready for this topic. But I think I'm ready. I think I could do it. And I seriously have talked to so many people, and oh my gosh, I can't even get into it right now. I will geek out forever. I have a lot that I want to do. Okay. Oh, you're usually on a mission. Love that. My dreams are always full of passageways. Whoa. Spatial jumps and conversations. Also, since I spend so much time listening to podcasts, I usually hear voiceovers. Whoa, my dreams happen both day and night. I definitely have day and night dreams. I like the nighttime ones better. I don't know, like I just noticed that the energy is just so cool with dreams that happen at night. I'm either looking for something, I'm trying to figure something out, like I'm just like watching a weird situation happen. I don't know. It's actually pretty diverse when I think about the theme of the dream. But keep in mind, I do dream that I'm in the school like half the time. So there's that as well. Yeah, on a mission of like there's some sort of story happening. Yeah, the night. Yeah. I love the dreams that happen at night. They're so cool and they're so vivid and they're so, oh my gosh. I wish that I could create a machine that I can like hook my brain up to. You wouldn't want this to get into like just something I can invent for me and my friends, okay? Something that's just for me and my friends. And we can like hook our minds up and I can like literally show you the dream that I had last night, or like if I'm imagining something I want to like invent or create, or I can see a painting that I want to create before I create it. I can project my idea through like my thoughts on like a projector or something for you to see it. Or if there was something that really funny happened, and I can't explain it, I can literally show you through my memory. Or like dreams, we can share our dream worlds with each other. I can literally, all the little dream worlds I talk about that I have, I can literally just show you now. That'd be so cool. Again, just for us, guys. We're not going to be selling these, we're not mass producing this. It's just kind of, these are the things that I wish existed now. I love the night a ton. So many of my dreams have a lot of shadow/darkness in them. I have many repeating dreamscapes that maybe rotate, so I appear in different areas of those repeating locales. That's so cool, dude. Oh my gosh. We haven't even reached the surface of what we could do, what we could be doing when it comes to these things. I hope one day soon we will and would love to be a part of it. You guys are all going to be a part of it. Like, we're going to change the world, especially the world of like dreaming and like consciousness, and like, because we have a lot of people in this community, and I think we can, and plus we're learning this skill together. Like everything I create on this channel, I hope that it serves you in some way that helps you learn something, or experiment with something that you didn't think of before, or discover something about yourself that, can help you step into who you're supposed to be. That this channel and this community is based on like growth and expansion, and I know that with time, as we grow as a community as well, our impact can, and we can do some really cool stuff, really cool experiments. Like, I want to have in-person retreats as well, where we can actually connect in person and do this work together and really find a way to get this out to the masses eventually, and especially like the potential and the possibilities. That's what we need to get out. So of course there's enough people in here to create a lot of reports of experiences that are possible through these states. This is definitely something that I've thought about a lot. And of course, like, I definitely want to write a book too. And so having tons of your guys' experiences and stuff, I want to have a little like lucid dreaming stories section of like some of your guys' craziest experiences in my book. I feel like the more that people see these experiences and get to read about them and look at the science of how this is possible and how many different people are experiencing similar things on different sides of the world, like, it makes you wonder, what is this? There's obviously something to this. It doesn't take much thinking to see that. How far does the rabbit hole go? I want to test that. That's really what I want to do. What if dreams are just us? I mean, that's a big question in itself, because what is us? What am I? Like, what defines that in the first place? So yeah, that could be a huge deep topic on its own. Does the chances of getting lucid increase after the first one if we keep practicing? Absolutely, because it's a skill, it's a new skill to your brain. Your brain doesn't necessarily know how to naturally be, I mean, it has random experiences, right? But it's not programmed or trained or wired to have them on a consistent basis. It's like picking up an instrument every once in a while, right? Like you'll know kind of how to hold a guitar, right? Even if you don't pick one up for a long time, you know how to hold the guitar, but you might need to freshen up your skills and your ability to play a full song without, interruptions or anything. That's going to take some time. Just like being able to maintain a fully lucid dream, we can have, we can have moments where we spontaneously get lucid or we start to build up dream recall, but as far as maintaining that skill, maintaining that awareness within a state where we're usually asleep, that's going to take some time. But if you've had a lucid dream, you're definitely like more than twice than likely to have another one. And that's because your brain got to experience something that it doesn't normally experience on its own on like a consistent basis. But the more lucid dreams you have, the more lucid dreams you will have, even spontaneously without trying. And the older you get, now this was in my lucid dreaming motivational video because I feel like it's important to state that the older you get, the less REM sleep you have. After like 35, age 35, your REM sleep starts to decrease slightly. So the older you get, you do start to lose some REM sleep. So even if you are older than 35, you can absolutely still induce lucid dreams. And if you build that skill, you'll be able to have them consistently. You know, we need to use the skills we don't want to lose. You know, if you've heard that before, you know, use it or lose it. And so I think that if you build up that skill, even if you are going, you know, almost 35 or you're past 35 or whatever, you know, I'm 26, so, you know, I'm not like crazy far off of 35 either. I feel like if we use these skills and we build them, then you build that muscle to be able to consistently lucid dream. So even if you know, even if you are getting older, which we all are, there's skills that you can do no matter what age you are, right? So that's one of the things that I use for motivation is like the older I get, you know, if I imagine if I started building up this skill now, like really taking it seriously, where would I be in 20 years? Like think about that, right? And so the best time to start is now, for sure. But it's not because you're gonna lose your REM after 35 or eventually you're not going to dream at all. You know, I feel like obviously I've never been older than I am right now, but I think that we'll always dream, especially if we work with it, because again, it's a skill. It's not something that will just disappear no matter what. It's just like any other skill of, you know, learning an instrument, playing a sport. I really feel like it works in the same way. Yeah, it's gonna be so cool, Greg. I have two things. I'm creating just a regular, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do it. But a lucid dreaming book, one that is different than all of the other ones you find. I don't want it just to be like a how-to or anything. I really want it to be a really cool, deep, profound book with lots of insightful things, lots of challenges, lots of things that I've experimented with it, talking about different dreamscapes. And, you know, like I want to create a book that's full of something that I haven't seen as far as like lucid dreaming books I've read. And then I'm creating a lucid dreaming workbook that's a year-long workbook, and it's going to be in combination with a year-long class or like a year-long course for like dreaming and lucid dreaming and stuff. And you can either enroll in like the year class and have this huge workbook that's we're gonna work through together, and like you're gonna be your dream journal, your dream planner. You can decode your, you know, the different symbols you have that show up in your dreams. You're gonna have a spot to literally log everything. You're creating your own like dream dictionary. It's like a full, like that's all you need, like a one-stop shop for your dreams. And you can either get that on its own, so you can just purchase the workbook and you can either have it as a digital version or you can print out the actual workbook so you have a physical journal and all of that. Yeah, so you can have it on your own or get it when you enroll in the class. So okay, the series, right? You're talking about the full year-long series. I'm going to be finalizing that within the next month or so. It's for sure going to be like the later end of this year is when it is starting, but that should be like a full year class again. And then I'm also going to be starting up my 2.0 of the mastermind I just did, so I need to also get that figured out. So there's a few things coming, but that class, so the astral projection year-long course, the Shift 2.0 mastermind, and my new breathwork course called Breathe. Those are going to be the next three things that come out. Okay. thank you guys. Without further ado, I haven't even got to the first point. I wanted to make sure I answered any questions you guys had. I wanted to hear about your experiments or your experiences with this, and maybe some things that you have tried or want to try within the dream state. So the first one that I have here, which is something that I'm sure a lot of us have tried, it's something that I feel like is talked about in any all the time, and that is to make a portal and jump through it. This is talked about in movies, this is talked about in out-of-body experiences. It's just a very sci-fi kind of like thing to try or to talk about when it comes to different dimensions and different experiences like that. And so I don't know if you guys have ever actually done that, but try to find or make a portal within a lucid dream and jump through it. Now, this is a lot easier than I would say people make it, because when they think a portal, they think of they're looking for something that looks like a normal portal that they've seen within movies or wherever, and really, portal is just a shift to a different state, you know? And so, like, mirrors you can jump off. If you see, like, in your dreams, sometimes I'll find like cool cliffs and stuff, and I don't know if you guys have ever tried like flying off of one or something, but that will take you definitely to a different dream space I've seen in general, or wake you up, or it could be a few different things. But this is why I definitely recommend experimenting, because if you are trying to get somewhere in your dream, or you're trying to change your dreaming environment, if you just imagine or believe or assume or expect that something can act as a portal and you can just walk up to it or jump through it or even just touch it and be transported somewhere else, then it will actually most likely play that role for you in some way if your belief and assumption and expectations are on board. Because again, that is the best thing I can say for lucid dream control, is believing and expecting it to happen and having focus on the result or the outcome that you want. In your dreams, in your lucid dreams, you are writing the dream as you act it out in a lucid dream. So the very next moment really is dependent on you, and the entire dream will play along to kind of affirm your narrative. Kind of like the neuroscience stuff we talk about a lot, right? When it comes to our beliefs and changing our perception and reality and being able to change our circumstances. Your brain looks to what you believe and assume to create your narrative. It's like the people that believe that they have bad luck. They start to find it everywhere because they program their brain that that's important to look for. And so now they affirm their own belief that they have bad luck, even though that's not true. And so it's the same thing with the dreams that we have and the experiences that we have. If we believe something is possible within the dream, but something else is not possible, then you will probably experience that and affirm your own belief or narrative. I talked to someone who is, they're a lucid dream content creator, and they've talked about how lucid dream or flying within a lucid dream can be really, really difficult, and it is difficult most of the time for most people. And I definitely challenged that belief, you know, because sometimes I will have dreams where I start flying just from like running or walking, or have you ever had a dream like that where you don't even have to try to fly, you just start like gliding or flying away in the air? And I'm sure you've had dreams where it's really, really difficult to fly. A lot of the time this is based on, you know, if you've experienced flying before. If not, of course, it's going to be a little like difficult the first time. It literally feels like you're actually flying, so expect your lucid dream experience to feel pretty much exactly like it would if you were flying in waking life, you know. Also, how stable the dreaming environment is. If you just got lucid, or maybe you've been lucid for a while and it's starting to fade away, your ability to fly is also going to be dependent on that. How much energy the dream has. Is there a crazy story being played out? Is how like stable is the dream? What's going on in the dream? You know, a lot of these things can determine if we're able to fly or not. But I believe that his belief of that it's difficult for everybody to fly and you really have to really try to find a lucid dream, I don't believe that that is necessarily true. I think it really depends on each person, you know, even when it comes to dream control, because some people have a difficult time controlling things within the dream, like getting something to appear in their hand or something. But it's just a natural belief that I'm dreaming, I can do anything. that is kind of how I've trained myself to think. I'm dreaming, I can do literally anything. And so if you have that belief, things flow a lot easier when it comes to things that you want to do within the dream state. Hello, Dion. How is it going? How is it going? I always have flying dreams when I'm running away and going too slow. I start swimming through the air. That's so fun. I've definitely had dreams where I'm like bounce flying, where I'll like fall really slow to the ground and I bounce flying, where I'm flying extremely fast and uncontrollably, where I'm flying really slow and kind of just floating. It's very weird. Or just barely off of the ground, you know, and you can like fly over water and just kind of. So it's very interesting. And I think that on some level, how the experience is in the dream as far as the environment does have something to do with, you know, maybe our energetic or emotional space as well. You know, if things feel really just heavy and resistant and just like not very stable, and you know, like, are you feeling that way in some way in waking life? You know, I think that when we have difficult experiences we're moving through within the waking state, I feel like that could translate to the experiences we have in the dream state, because we've talked about how they're immediately connected. So I definitely think all of this is very subjective per person. I've got more training to do. I tend to lose control a lot when I enter a lucid dream. Definitely stabilize the dream first in any way that you can. Should be the first thing that any of us do as soon as we get lucid, is stabilize the dream. So the first thing is, the first point that I mentioned is to, again, for anyone just joining, to try to find or make a portal and jump through it. And you can just believe that something is going to act as a portal and see how that changes it. You could literally be looking at a door and all of a sudden train your brain to think this is an illusionary door and it's actually a portal that I can jump through. And like suspend all disbelief and fully try to believe in that statement. And watch how the door changes within your dream state. That's what's so cool, is it really is down to belief. Control is really based on focus and assumption. The next one is to try to induce an out-of-body experience through a lucid dream. Now you're already in REM sleep, so your body is asleep, and this is one thing that makes it really easy to induce an out-of-body experience. So if you have a lucid dream and you would prefer to maybe try to induce an out-of-body experience instead of having a lucid dream, then you can try to do that directly through the dream state. It definitely is possible for anybody, especially because we've talked about having, you know, lucid dreams and then all of a sudden you're out of body and you're experiencing both things at the same time, but your awareness keeps switching back and forth to each one. I've definitely had that a lot. So just know it is possible to kind of experience these states in the same session or experience, if that makes sense. And how I do it, and if you guys have experienced this, I would love to hear how you do it, but when it comes to inducing an out-of-body experience from a lucid dream, one thing that helps me is to focus my attention on my physical body and not my dream body. So I don't know if you guys have ever had an experience where you're dreaming or lucid dreaming and you can feel the pillow that you're laying on while you're still dreaming, walking around. You kind of want to get into that state where you can